Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. This is a quick video on how I take care of my blackberry canes in the spring. They're back there. I'm redoing this whole fruit area. I have blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, and I am putting in these raised beds from Vegega, V-E-G-E-G-A. I will put that information in the video description, but I'll be going into more depth with these metal raised beds, how to assemble them, how to fill them. And I'm going to be bringing a lot. I'm actually bringing in some fruit trees. These are dwarf trees. They get about 10 feet tall. They're going to go in between the hops. So blackberries are really easy to grow. A couple of things that I recommend is buy the Erect variety or the Clumping variety. That means they tend to stay in place. These are going on their 4th year. They're pretty much staying in there. There are some blackberries in here mixed into the blueberry bush, and when I brought this over from my old home, there was one blackberry cane in there, so they've kind of grown together, and that's okay. I'm good with that. They did move from this space right here right over to here, so there is some movement. You could dig those up if you want, but I am just going to keep them there and trellis them right up my cattle panel, so I think that's going to look really cool. But they move slowly, and that's what you want. You don't want any kind of cane, blackberry or raspberry that you plant to take over your entire garden. So clumping variety. Next thing is these have been heavily mulched with wood mulch over the last 3 years going into the 4th year. And when the wood mulch decays, it gives NP and K and fertilizer, everything right into the top of the blackberries, and that really keeps them fed well. So now it's spring, you're going to have two kinds of canes. You're going to have green canes with leaves on them, and you're going to have canes that are, let's find a couple, that are dead, that they're just brown, they're ready to come out. The way that blackberries work in general with this variety, these might be Arapaho, by the way, not 100% sure on the variety, but it's a clumping variety. So first year, you have canes that come up, they grow, put out leaves, but they don't flower. The second year, those canes will produce flowers and fruit, and then they die off. So the wood that's here that has died off produced fruit last year. The green wood on here now is going to produce flowers and fruit. And just so you get an idea, this space really produces easily 1,000 plus blackberries, more than I can really use, but I give a lot away. So I'm going to prune out all the dead wood, and it's real easy. I mean, you just look at it, and if it looks something like this all the way up, if you don't see any kind of green on there, no leaves, then it's a cane that already produced fruit last year, so you just remove it. So I'm going to remove those. These also get easily 12 feet tall. These are really tall canes, so you want to set something up that's solid. I originally used these U posts, and they were 6-foot posts. I put them into the ground about a foot. I had to go buy these stronger T posts that were 7 feet tall, so this went into the ground 1 foot, and now it's about 6 feet tall. It probably could even be higher. You kind of want to weave the canes through something to support them. If not, they're going to just flop and fall over. Like for instance, look at this one. So this is 6 feet tall. You might want to even go 7 feet tall with some of the varieties of blackberries. This way you can keep them contained more. And my whole goal here is I just wanted to create kind of a wall of blackberries, compartmentalize, kind of create a hidden room on the other side of my garden right there. And they do really, really well. So I will prune them out, show you what it looks like when it's done. Now for fertilizing, this is just any organic granular fertilizer. In fact, my bucket I think just says all purpose. I just throw in whatever's on sale in there, mix it around. You don't need to do anything fancy. Remember, the wood chips are feeding them. Handful right over there, handful right over there, and then you get the idea. And I would go all the way down to the other side. That's all they need for the organic granular. I will water these in one time with fish emulsion, a 511 NP and K. Water soluble. That will give nitrogen to the plants right away, help them with their leaf development. They don't really need all that, but that's not a lot of fertilizing. And then I just let them go. I don't really have to water these. These are well established, and I get blackberries year after year after year. All right, let me prune these back, show you what it looks like when I'm done. Here's the space opened up. All the wood that already fruited has been cut back. Now, in theory, you could do this in the fall if you kind of keep an eye on which canes fruit or not. I like to do it in the spring because the healthy branches, the branches that are still alive, or the canes that are still alive, that are going to produce fruit, will be green and they'll have leaves on it. The other canes are brown and they're easy to pick out. Had one branch I had to cut off that's alive because it snapped. Be a little bit careful because they can break if you're not careful with how you're pulling the dead wood out. Sometimes you hook onto a green branch or green cane and it breaks. You can save these and use these for peas and for trellising and stuff like that. So now that the good canes are there, I just wanted to show you the basic way to do this. You would tie your rope on one side, and it can be hard to kind of weave these lower because they're going to snap as you're trying to bend them down. So you can just take your cord, bring it across, maybe to a position like this. I can't tie it with one hand, but you get the idea. And then that will just put them in place, and you can kind of do whatever design that you want. So I do have to fix this space up, but that's the basic idea. Up here, I'll be able to bend some of the canes in, but just set up something that is nice and solid, supports the canes, and you'll be good to go. Let me actually get this into the shape that I want, and then we'll sign off. So the blackberries have been managed, all the dead wood has been removed. It looks pretty good. And try and put the canes so that they're going straight up, and it's going to be hard as you get to the upper part of your trellis or however you're kind of managing them. You don't want them really rubbing on each other just in case it gets windy and damages the cane. That's going to happen. But try and keep them going straight up the best you can. And I think this looks pretty good. If the rope that you use or the twine you use, if it's cotton based or if it's something organic, it's only going to last about 2 years. So it kind of begins to decay, and some of these broke. So I'm going to go out and get some black polycord. I think that will look better. I definitely want a string right at the top all the way across that way. And then I want to replace the white clothesline actually with something else. It's going to last for several years. I don't want to keep having to replace it, but I think they look good. Pretty simple. I'm going to water this in with the fish emulsion, water soluble fertilizer, and then you just let them go. Give blackberries a try. Get the Erect clumping variety. It's really rewarding, not a lot of maintenance. You get a lot of fruit, and you can really tuck them anywhere into your garden. Thanks for watching. Please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com.